You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. I am Daniel.
I'm Clint. 2 windows today, not the thrice made windows. No triangle for us. Just the 2 side by side.
Just us.
Guys. Glad you're here with us, guys and gals, over on YouTube and in whatever podcast form you're listening to. Glad you found Locked On Bulldogs here on Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Daniel and I talk like fans do because we do that really well. We know fan speech. We have perfected it. We know Curbinese. These are the languages on my resume that no one cares about, and yet I will continue to put them on there. And people will ask me, "What is Curbinese?" And I say,
I think it's why
I don't know if this job's I don't know if this job's right for me. If you have to ask what Curbinese is, no, kind sir, I will not take your job. We don't take ourselves too seriously nor each other. Hope you have fun on this podcast as your fandom increases, as ours does as well.
That's right. We are, you know the drill at this point. If you found the show on YouTube, welcome. Glad that you're here. There's also an audio podcast. You can find that wherever podcasts are found. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Store, wherever you get your podcasts. Download, subscribe, leave us a rating and review on there. That's appreciated. If you're listening on audio right now, head on over to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's new. And so subscription would mean a lot to us. And while you're there, you can just leave us a thumbs up on this video or comment or hit the bell or whatever it is that you want to do. Had a couple great guests on the show. You can go back and listen to those episodes. Brooks Austin.
He's the best.
What a loser.
You know what? I gotta tell the audience, we tried far too much, guys. We hate him. We can't stand him.
We did. Brooks Austin's the best. Had him on yesterday. If you haven't listened to that one or watched it, go back and some great insight. I mean, when the guy talks about the Georgia Bulldogs, it just hits different. And then John Tweet Sports on Tuesday's episodes, and this just in, Clint. Tomorrow we're doing the mailbag episode. Okay, we're locked and loaded. We got questions.
Oh, we got questions. I saw
questions. I don't know if we have answers, but we do have questions. There's plenty of this podcast has always raised lots of questions, Clint, I think. If you guys
don't understand the whole premise of our podcast, we are Seinfeld friends and fans. What do you think the premise of Seinfeld was, y'all?
Sure.
Okay.
May have a special guest on tomorrow, Clint. This just in. We'll see. We're still working on it. Still got it in the oven. Okay. So glad that you are here. Subscribe to the various outlets. Hit us up on Twitter at Dawgs Podcast. Send us an email, lockedonbulldogs@gmail.com. Locked On Bulldogs Ice Cream Insider Kenny, by the way, sent us a fantastic Monk's Retreat photo. So well done.
Here's the deal.
Kenny.
Here's the deal. Kenny, I don't give you a well done. Why? I have yet to receive a freeze-dried ice cream
Kenny.
Package to my door.
Kenny. I don't know what we're waiting on here. There's no.
It's 2021, Kenny.
We get Built Bars shipped to the house here. I don't know, Kenny, why we can't.
And it's in a space age plastic. It's a whole deal. Anyway.
Also, shout out to Joel, who I believe we have dubbed the official graphic designer of the Locked On Bulldogs podcast. Is that his name? Did I make that
I think
up?
it is.
Did I get it right? It's hard to say. All right. Today's Locks episode, we're excited about that. Georgia doesn't have a game on Saturday, Clint. And so you don't have anything to do this weekend except make money. So let's just assume that you're a person who likes money. Let's assume that you're a person who enjoys acquiring said
or
money.
who lives in a surrounding environment in which currency is used and exchanged of goods.
Fascinating. Every week on this podcast, we get on here and give out a little thing called locks. And, last week, not our best week. Okay. Virginia cashed. Arizona State cashed. Did they? No, they didn't. No, Arizona State did not cash.
No.
Alabama cashed. UGA did not cash. Florida
Purdue?
did
Hello,
not cash.
Purdue, who sprinkled some of that on the money line as well.
Well done on the Purdue. But listen, it was a rough week last week. This is what we're trying to say. But we're moving past it. We're ready to get back on the horse.
Big picture.
I'm ready to be heard again. But that's what
we are. Braves fans and we are Georgia fans. I want
ready.
Pain.
Bring it into my life. Okay. I have several. I know you have several as well, Clint. Give me your best one of the week, though. Let's bring out the heavy hitters first.
Okay. Last time I did this, I think I was dead on with it, Daniel. I'm fairly certain. Look, here's the. I'm going to start with one. You know what? No, I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to go to the best team in the Mountain West, Daniel.
Okay.
Best team in the Mountain West right now. Would you like to venture a guess who that team is?
Is it Boise?
No, sir.
No, it's not. Because you're not allowed to bet on Boise. Because we've said no to that. There's a wall up. We're not going to cross it.
Shut it down.
No, we're not doing Boise.
Shut it down.
Who's the best team in the Mountain West?
San Diego State is the best team in the Mountain West. Daniel.
Sure.
They're playing Air Force this week. It's a military school. Good on them. Hey, totally fine. Behind you, Armed Forces, all that sort of deal. But San Diego State is getting 3.5. Now, they're on the road, okay, which is a little bit of a problem.
Air Force is a decent team.
Air Force is a decent team. Okay. I understand they're a decent team. I'm not downplaying Air Force as a bad team. What I'm saying is San Diego State is a good team who's getting points. So if I have a good team getting points to get a team that I'm not necessarily sure is better than them, San Diego State's playing just out of their mind right now. I like everything they got going on. They've cashed for me before. Haven't given them out on locks yet, but I have had them in other bets. Give me San Diego State plus 3.5.
Well, that's great. I love it. I'm going to put it on the sheet. I almost forgot that I have to do that. Keep track of these types of things. San Diego State plus 3.5. The hook is nice there.
It's nice.
I'm going to stick with the military theme here, Clint. And Wake Forest is playing the Black Knights of Army. Okay? Now, listen. Weird things can happen when Army plays football. I understand. Weird things can happen. It's an option attack. I think we all know that. I think sometimes defenses are not ready for it. They're not prepared for it. Wake Forest is an okay ACC team. Is that fair?
They're an okay ACC team, correct? Which translates to garbage.
Not very good. Army, also not very good.
Not this year.
This season. Wake Forest traveling to Army. I'm not catching points on the road. I am laying them. But I'm going to lay the 3 points with Wake Forest because I think 3 is not a number that scares me. I think they win this game comfortably, probably by a touchdown. Probably a more low-scoring affair than Wake Forest would like to play, but I still think that they're able to make some defensive stops and get in the end zone a few times. And so give me Wake Forest minus the 3 on the road.
Yeah, this is like a 20-13 game or something like that, or a 17-10 game, has it written all over it. Daniel, we got a couple more when we come back after this, but first, I want to let you know about Sweat Block. Sweat Block. For a few weeks now, I've been talking about Sweat Block. These wipes that stop sweat for 7 days, and it seems that people have been listening. Rachel Ray.
Rachel Ray's been listening. I'll tell you.
We have friends of Locked On who's tried Sweat Blocks and love it. There's a high school teacher that says, we have a story here about a high school teacher who put it on, when he'd pit out by fourth period, he hears snickers and whispers from students, which, high school students, man, they're... So really, he started bringing a second shirt to change.
Like Auburn fans in the comments. Can hurt your feelings sometimes. They can just hurt your feelings sometimes.
Not here. He used to bring a shirt to class to change into. Then he heard about Sweat Block in our program. He tried it, and now he's hooked. No more Snickers. No more second shirts. It stops excessive sweat for up to 7 days per use. It's doctor created, doctor recommended. There's a dry shirt guarantee. If Sweat Block
Think about the
doesn't,
laundry that guy's saving. You understand what I'm saying? That's not. I don't care if a high school kid laughs at me. Okay, that's like
sure,
I'm a grown person. I'm a grown person. Like high school kid can laugh at me. It's not a.
The mullet is
Really not gonna
waving as
bother
he
me.
says
Not
that.
gonna bother me. Okay, but when you just cut your laundry in half, now you're doing something for your life. That's
true. If Sweat Block doesn't keep you dry, you get your money back. Not just for armpits, chest, back, feet, hands. Use it anywhere, and I mean anywhere that sweats. If you or someone you care about is dealing with excessive sweat, you have to go check out Sweat Block. Get it today for 20% off. Sweatblock.com with promo code Locked On, or at Amazon and CVS.
all right, Clint. Far be it for me to bury the lead. Brooks on the podcast yesterday.
He was.
Acted like he was on a bit of a heater.
He was making some dough
in terms of wagering. And if you were listening, he gave out a lot on the podcast. Now, listen, I'm not going to count it towards the official total of the locks because Brooks is not a host of the podcast. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put my money on it. I'm going to make it a lock for myself. Only I'm not going to take 21.5 points with Northwestern. I'm going to take 23.5 points with Northwestern because what I got them at. Northwestern plus 23.5 against Michigan. Michigan's got a look-ahead spot here because they play Michigan State coming up. Watch out. Mel Tucker, I don't know if you know, but he's got that team a-rolling. And so,
2 teams that have top 10 defense and top offense according to efficiency. One is the Georgia Bulldogs. The other is the Spartans.
Michigan looking ahead to that game. They are going to win this game, but it will be much closer than 23.5 points. And so give me Northwestern plus 23.5. Brooks, we ride.
I had a log since he did say it on the show the other day. I thought it was a little cheap for me to lead out with that and have that, but it was one of the logs I was going to throw on the fire. Daniel, make that a twofer.
Put that 2 spot next to it. So just to be clear, if you want to maximize your winnings, when we agree on a lock, that would indicate that you should bet twice as much on it. So that's how we're saying. That's how we keep track. Clint, the Pac-12 is nonsense. It's a nonsense league. Okay,
awful.
Can we just talk about the Pac-12 for a second?
It's bad.
Herm out there laying an egg for me last week. Stanford was winning. Stanford was beating Washington State 13-0.
Yep.
What happened, Stanford? It's a bunch of nonsense out there in the Pac-12. And let me explain to you how much nonsense it is. UCLA is favored at home against Oregon. UCLA, who is favored every week and loses. That's what happens to UCLA. That's how they play football. That's how Chip Kelly plays football. They're favored at home against Oregon. And what did I just say UCLA does when they're favored? They lose the game. Give me Oregon plus 2, and you might want to just a lot of it on there. Sprinkle a lot on that money line. But for the sake of the Locks pod, give me Oregon plus 2. Oregon's still the best team in the Pac-12, even though they're not one of the 10 best teams in the country.
Daniel, that's one of my locks as well. I'm not going to bury it. I'm not going to try to talk about anything else. Oregon's the most talented team. They still think they have a shot at getting into the playoff. They still think they can do something with it. So you know what? They're going to play out. Chip is not a good coach. He's a good offensive coordinator. Give me that points as well. I'm going to stay in the Pac-12.
Oh, dear.
Since it's chaos. It's chaos out there.
Well, you might as well profit off of it. Question for the people. Do you have to watch the game when you bet on them? You don't have to watch. Okay. Then yes, please fire away at another Pac-12 game.
Don't watch these games. Oregon State did me dirty last week. They decided to not show up at all.
Fool me once.
Don't do it again. Don't do it again. Utah showed me a lot of things in the game last week. They came to play. They're a good school. They're traveling up to Oregon to play this
Mhm.
game, Daniel. Now I'm going to ask you something.
Corvallis.
Utah, outside of the state of Utah, how good are they? They're not good. Give me
What year
Oregon State +3.
are you saying you think the 20-hour bus ride that they'll have to take from the nearest airport to Corvallis will affect them?
Because if you don't understand why Oregon will never get the biggest class in the entire nation, it's because literally you have to do a puddle jumper. When I say puddle, you land on a lake and then you go from that lake to the nearest airport and then you drive 2 hours to go to Oregon. And Oregon State's even worse. Give me Oregon State +3. It's awful.
+3.
Oregon State's, yep, they got points at home in Pac-12, and I'm here for the chaos.
All right. Well, this is a line to me that I got some overvalued teams that I'm going to try to play on here. Okay. So it's kind of a theme.
This will be interesting to see where you go because it fits my last two, Daniel.
Okay. Syracuse overvalued. Syracuse hung in there tremendously against Clemson.
Sure they did.
At home at the Carrier Dome. Now the Syracuse Orange are traveling to Blacksburg, Virginia. Is that the Carrier Dome, Clint? Is that the same thing?
Sir.
Will it be indoors? Will it be climate controlled, Clint? Will it be that? Will Enter Sandman be playing as loud at a decibel level that's not safe for the human ear?
I want to know. You know what? Give me a VTech engineer on my team at work anytime, because to make those stands not crumble each and every week is a feat of engineering marvel.
Mm-hmm. Give me Virginia Tech -3.5 against Syracuse. I'm not scared of the hook. Syracuse overvalued. This is a 6-point line. It should be a 6-point line, and I probably still would have bet Virginia Tech. But give me Virginia Tech -3.5.
I got two more. Daniel's got a couple more. We're going to come back and talk about that. But first, I want to let you know about Rock Auto. RockAuto.com is your place to go online for every single car part your car will ever need. It's reliably low prices. It is the full mustache. Guys, it's got so much mustache that Tom Selleck called in and said, "How do I get what you got? Please sell me what you."
A pair of fuzzy dice?
That's what he's wondering. That's what he's wondering. Head over right now to rockauto.com. Let them know we sent you by putting into the comments or how did you hear about us section locked on. You're going to get reliably low prices on every car part your car's ever going to need. It's going to come straight to your door. And Brooks Austin may brave the aisles of Walmart, but that ain't my life. Okay? He can do that. I'm not about it. I'm not going to go down to Walmart. I'm not going to go down and see the man who has 3 fuzzy dice hanging from his rear view mirror at any moment. He could just switch it out, which is Kyle, the high school intern that is working there. RockAuto.com, reliably low prices, every car part your car will ever need. RockAuto.com.
That read took a turn in the middle and went somewhere that I wasn't sure where it was going. BetOnline is your online sportsbook expert. They're the place. We're giving out these locks, and if you want to profit off of these locks, you simply go to betonline.ag. You enter the promo code Locked On. You're going to get a 50% bonus on your initial deposit. That means you make a deposit. They give you 50% of that deposit back in the form of a bonus. Therefore, you have even more money with which to wager. We give out locks on this podcast every week. We are substantially over 500 for the year, which means that if you're following all of our advice, even though we didn't have a great week last week, we are still making you money. And the place to go to claim that money is betonline.ag. They are your online sportsbook experts, whatever you need for NBA, MLB, college football, pro football. I mean, it's October, guys. It's the greatest month of the year in terms of sports. And so betonline.ag is the place to go to place all of those wagers. Remember to enter the promo code Locked On for 50% welcome bonus at betonline.ag.
All right, Daniel, where do you want to go? I have a couple more teams. You gave out the last one, so I need to give out this one. I have a couple overvalued teams as well.
Okay.
And
I think I got 3 more. So
okay, I got 2 more.
Go ahead.
Penn State, good team.
Sure.
Good team. Sure. When they have a quarterback who's back there who knows how to throw and is competent in the system. When said quarterback
Correct.
is taken out of the system, all of a sudden the team that should have rolled Iowa
Hmm.
no
Iowa
longer
good?
capable.
Is that?
No.
I'm sorry. Real quick, Iowa fans
Yep.
on Twitter,
Oh gosh.
where are they? Where
Um,
have the Iowa fans gone, Clint?
well, it's harvest season around these parts, and
Oh,
so
I see. Okay.
they not there, guys.
No,
Iowa's
no,
not good.
you're not gonna be hearing a lot from Iowa fans,
No, because they're not
listeners,
good.
any
Um,
longer.
Penn State, Clifford is questionable. He's not playing. He's not going to play. And if he plays, he's going to play banged up. This was always
Mhm.
the threat of Penn State. Before the season, I thought, hey, they're going to be good. They might go for conference, except if Sean Clifford gets hurt, it's bad. Their team is not going to do it.
There's nothing there.
Illinois is getting 23 and a half points. I understand it is at Penn State. I get that. 23 and a half points with a team with their quarterback who's not playing because he's injured. If he does, he's not playing well. The backup has shown he's not competent. That's too many daggone points, Daniel.
It's a lot of points.
Give me
It
Illinois.
is Illinois, but
I understand that.
but it's a lot of points. All right, I am going to stick with my overvalued theme, and this one, listen, number one.
Okay.
I feel like I bet Ole Miss every dang week. Do I bet Ole Miss every week?
This is like me and Fickle. This is Daniel and Lane.
Okay, first of all, I bet on the Ole Miss season win total over, and guess who's riding that thing all the way to Cashtown?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Second of all, Ole Miss has covered a lot of spreads this year, so I'm happy about betting on them every week. Lastly, and I'm only really betting this game just for the sheer joy of what I'm about to say. LSU, Clint, is being vastly overrated this week. Do you know why they're
No.
being overrated?
Because they beat a Florida team that should have never been in contention with LSU.
Did they beat that Florida team? Because Florida scored a lot of points in that game, Clint. Are you sure that LSU won?
Well, seeing as how a man who is not on any top rushing list in the entire conference for 6 weeks, all of a sudden a week later is now bing.
49 points, Clint. That's a LSU. LSU had a little rallying moment, had a little something together. Guess what? Ole Miss still has a lot to play for this college football season.
They have everything to play for. Daniel.
There's still a scenario where Ole Miss makes the college football playoff.
They beat Bama. They go to the SEC championship. They beat us.
They already
sorry.
lost.
Yeah, Bama loses. I was thinking Auburn. Auburn beats Bama.
Or let's just say that Ole Miss wins the rest of their games, and now they're sitting there at 11-1. They're at least in the conversation at the end of it for the college football playoff. Only loss coming out of Alabama. Oh, look, Ole Miss is only giving away 9 points. 9 points at home against LSU. Go Tiger. Only a couple more games left in the tank. Meanwhile, Lane Kiffin, maybe he's coaching to audition for a job at LSU.
By the way, if I'm Coach O, aren't you just like basically walking around the halls just completely naked and just eating whatever you want? Just
absolutely.
What are you gonna do to me?
Absolutely.
You fired me already.
This is the weirdest dead man walking situation I may have ever seen in college football. Ole Miss is going to handle LSU this week because LSU still quit football. It just turns out you can quit football and still beat Florida because that's who Florida is. So,
yikers.
All right, I've got two more, and they both have a weird taste in my mouth. So I'm just going to get them. I'm going to get them out there as quickly as possible.
Okay.
The first is this: when is enough going to be enough already? Okay. I know Pitt is having a great year.
Here we go.
But enough is enough already. Okay? Because this Clemson team is too talented to be this bad. I know. I've watched them. You've watched them.
Third best defense in college football.
They're too talented to be this bad offensively. defensively. They are not lacking talent. What is happening in Clemson?
So tell the
South
people
Carolina?
this line, Daniel. What's the line for this game?
It's Clemson plus 4.
I'm sorry,
Clemson
what?
is catching 4 points at Pittsburgh. Give me Clemson. Give me Clemson.
Oh no!
And you just put it just a little bit right there. Clemson's going to go on and win this game. Do you know why, Clint?
Tell me.
Because you and everyone else in the world is this close to thinking the ACC actually has a good team, and their name is Pitt. But guess what?
I don't think
the ACC don't have no good team. So Pitt overvalued. So they've won some games, sure. Tennessee beat Pitt, but they were playing Joe Milton at quarterback. Which, by the way, Joe Milton tried to run for that first down. I know it's been 6 days since that game happened, but I can't stop thinking about it. He was 28 yards from the end zone, and every defender was between him and the end zone. One of them.
And then he just did a little left-hand turn out of bounds.
He wasn't even running hard. And then he just walked out of bounds and they were continued walking towards the tunnel.
Is that the game? Is the game over?
Where he may or may not have been hit with a mustard bottle. Okay. Pitt's overvalued.
This seems like Carrier Dome all over again, Daniel. I'm just telling you that right now. Seems like Carrier Dome.
This year, Clemson's the bad team. They're the ones that win the upset game. Give me Clemson plus 4. And then my last one is another underdog on the road. When you have an undefeated team and they're a 7-point underdog against a team that's not very good, you really should have the alarm bells going off. Okay? Las Vegas is trying to tell you something. I don't care, Las Vegas. I'm not listening. I'm not listening to you. Give me Oklahoma State plus 7. If this line were 6, I would not bet it. So if you can't find it at 7 or 7.5, do not bet it. Because Oklahoma State will probably lose this game. Listen, I'm saying on the podcast, do not no sprinkle.
No
sprinkle.
No money line.
But 7 points is too many daggone points. I don't think Oklahoma State's going to get blown out by Iowa State. Oklahoma State handled business against Texas. I know early in the year they did not look great. They won a bunch of really close games early in the year. But Oklahoma State, as the season has gone on, I think they're playing with more and more confidence. Do I think they're an undefeated team at the end of the year? No, of course I don't. But Iowa State, given 7 points, that's too many points. So give me Oklahoma State. It's not. Listen, I told you the last two I didn't. Ew.
Well, Daniel, I don't know how we're going to judge this. Give us a point in the win column already, because Vegas is telling you something, and Iowa State going to come out here and Matt Campbell gonna bow up. He's going to get his running attack going.
Boy,
Oklahoma State's going on the road. It's going to be a little chillier in Iowa this coming week. Just let you know. The Cowpokes coming in, and they're riding high. They're looking at Texas. They're looking at all these places where they're going to think about going. Give me the Cyclones -7 at home. Lock it up.
Yikes. Well, it's our first fight of the season.
It is.
We'll see who comes out on top, and that's the person that you should listen to for the rest of the year. Giving out locks. That's the
hot damn.
That's the way that it works.
I'm sorry. We're staking our entire reputation on Oklahoma State and Iowa. This is where we're at.
Georgia's not playing. I ain't got nothing to do on Saturday. I'll be out there. I'll be out there watching just garbage Big 12 football. All right. Hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Mailbag episode is tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a comment. Leave us a rating and review. And we got I would say submit a question, but it's too late now. We got a whole mess of questions. We have got all the questions that we can handle. So we'll try to get to as many of them as we can on the episode tomorrow. So tune back in, and maybe there'll be a guest here. Maybe there won't be. I don't know. My phone is silent so far. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow.